When I was high school teaching, one day sitting in the staff room, the head of department walks in and just off the cuff comment, she says, relationships with kids are so important. And at that time I'd been teaching for a couple of years and I hadn't really thought about relationships, even though I had some good relationships, some bad ones with different kids I'd taught. I never stopped to think about them and reflect on how they might impact my teaching. When I became an academic, I worked with some colleagues on some collaborative projects focused on kids' emotional experiences in learning science. And at the end of those projects, after some of the data that was coming through from those studies, I realised that the emotions that kids experience are so fleeting and change so frequently that there's something bigger that they point towards that's more substantive and important. And I came to understand that that other bigger thing is the social bonds or social relationships that they have with other students or with the teacher. I've decided to look at social bonds from a sociological perspective that also adds another dimension of difference from existing research in the field. So one of the ways that kids and teachers benefit is that I ask them to reflect on their classroom emotions and identify particular emotions that they find disruptive to the teaching or to the learning, and through those reflections to generate practices that might improve those emotions. Students are completing emotion diaries, as is the teacher, at the end of each lesson that I observe. During one particular set of lessons, the students were doing an inquiry activity in science. And in the emotion diaries that I was analysing, they were reporting frustration at the number of times they had to repeat trials in their experiments and how they found this boring and irritating and frustrating. And so I designed a very quick intervention, which was to contact some scientists through Twitter and ask them about how they deal with the frustration of repeated trials and the tedium of repetitive activities that they have to do in their research. So I took this screenshots of these Twitter feeds back to the students and presented a session explaining that real scientists also experience the frustration and the irritation that the students were reporting, and here are a couple of strategies that they use to deal with that frustration. I use the emotion diaries that teachers and students fill out to scaffold the teachers' pedagogical reflections about their students' emotions. So the teacher gets copies of the students' emotion diaries. I ask them to read those diaries and then identify areas that they want to work on in their practice. The ability to identify emotions in yourself and other people is a critical skill required in facilitating positive social bonds.